For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Shannon Sharpe has continued to stay in the headlines as he has another interview that just dropped with Amanda Seales. And during the conversation, Seales would explain how her reputation of becoming unlikable came to be. Now, Seales has always been a personality never afraid to hold her tongue and speak her mind, and that is on full display during the 3-hour conversation with Sharpe. While the interview premiered on YouTube, Seales simultaneously took to Instagram Live to reveal that a portion of the interview was cut out, removing context from Amanda's point of view. Lately, Seales has had to constantly defend herself from hit pieces that came from other Black publications, including Essence, The Griot, and The Root. And her latest stop on Club Shay Shay is no different.
I had a show on Issa's website on YouTube. I had my show Get Your Life. And when it came out on her YouTube, unfortunately, the press picked it up as Issa Rae's new show.
Right.
But she didn't do anything except put it on her site. I put all my money into it. I wrote it. I starred in it, etc. And so I said, hey, would you mind, tweeting to correct this? And she just wouldn't. She wouldn't promote any of the shows, and I just felt like that was unfortunate. It didn't change my view of her character. Like, it just let me know, like, okay, this is how she do business. In that time, her publicist was interacting with me and was from just day one, just so acerbic to the point where Issa's business manager had to say to the publicist, like, can you please try and be kinder to Amanda? You need to talk to your therapist about why you don't like me. And I hung up the phone.
Today, we've got comedian Tony Roberts on the show to talk about Black media and how he was able to maintain longevity in the industry. Not only that, but we'll be getting into Tony's career and upcoming projects. Also joining us in studio is our very own John Abba. First and foremost, I want to welcome Tony to the show. We got to give him our right. It's so great to have you. I'm super excited for this. First and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm a big fan of Tony Roberts. He is sensational. He's the man. I'll tell you.
That he is, and that's why I'm so happy to have you here. First, I want to talk about something that we've talked about on the show a couple times because Shannon Sharpe is back in the headlines and he's been staying in the headlines, and I want to get into your impressions. But first, just your thoughts on the Shannon Sharpe interviews. After Cat Williams, we've kind of seen it just constantly, explode and get bigger and bigger. What are your thoughts on Shannon Sharpe's interviews and how it's impacted comedy?
But the thing about it is Shannon Sharpe had interviews before Cat Williams. He had this thing going on before Cat Williams, but he realized the ratings were difficult. I mean, they knew him. Shannon Sharpe is like number 4, one of the best commentators in the country right now to me. But until he got to Cat Williams, it was just the Shay Shay Club. Now it's the Shay Shay, what the hell club. And so what you do, what Cat did, Shannon Sharpe said that he made more money off the Cat Williams interview than he did his whole career in football. Because back then when he played, they wasn't getting the money like they get now. So that's possible. But after you do Cat Williams and you break the internet, it's hard to follow that. And then Monique got on there, and like you say, me and my boy, Lance Woods, we always got to see what's on there. We don't do a lot of them because once you do Cat Williams and Monique, it's hard to follow those. Now you need somebody to come. You need a fool to come on there. You need somebody that got crazy, that been stabbed, you know what I'm saying, or got away with something. You got to talk. Now it can't be just a regular interview about somebody's career because it's not. Everybody looking for, okay, where the crazy stuff at?
You've actually done a couple impressions of Shannon, which are hilarious. We've saw him here and laughed a couple times. So I want to take a quick look at that, and then I want to come back and ask your thoughts on it. So we'll be back. Let's take a look.
No. I want to know what the real problem is.
They stole that whole story from me. Home Alone, I was left home alone. That's my story. My parents left me home alone. They went out of town. I fought off burglars. You look it up today, those same burglars go by the Wu-Tang Clan.
You can't mean that. You cannot mean that.
I was accepted into college when I was 6 months old. I had a full-ride scholarship to the University of Heaven.
I've been in the NFL for 15 years. I never took a shower. I ain't need to. I get on that field, I grind my ass home.
We were in an Illuminati meeting. They offered me $400 million and said I would be 6'7". I walked out of that meeting a proud 5'2". But when I leave here, I have to go shoot my 47th 1-hour comedy special. The twist is this one, I'm doing in Mandarin. Kong Yong Chi Yong Chu.
So I have to ask.
Everybody be asking me, what is that on your head? Is that gorilla glue?
And it's the part for me.
It is. It's like.
And then I got so into it, man. It's like everywhere I go to the airport or if I'm on my shows, everybody goes, Shannon Sharpe, do the Shannon Sharpe. It ain't gonna work without the interview. I can't just do it. I be doing it though sometimes though, but it's crazy, man. But Shannon Sharpe, what he do, he allow people to be them. You know what I'm saying? But if you want it to really blow up, it's blowing up. It's blowing. It's a big podcast. It's like the Joe Rogan thing. It's getting the numbers. But if you really want it to be, out this world, Shannon Sharpe, when he hears something he don't agree with, he should go against what they're saying.
Yeah.
He should go against. But as a smart host, he allowed them to talk and then let them vent and let them do this. And they'll talk about somebody that he likes. But he won't defend them like he should. But maybe he shouldn't. Maybe, like I said, that's not his job. Is to get them on here and let them vent.
Yeah, I agree. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Amanda was the latest guest on Club Shay Shay, where she talks about, how her reputation isn't likable and how that came to be. John, I'm going to actually start with you to bring you in on this conversation. What's your reaction to it? Why do you think there is this reputation for Amanda, as being unlikable? Or hard, hard to work with, like all these things that were discussed.
I think it's just a combination of people that don't know her and they can only kind of judge her from afar, what they see. I think also like Amanda probably reminds people of certain people in their lives that they've experienced. And, just being outspoken, and sometimes being a Black woman that's outspoken, sometimes that can kind of like, it's like, it's just whatever that feeling is, it kind of creates that type of energy.
Yeah.
And this even take off the Black, just being a woman that's outspoken. Typically, I don't think people are always receiving of women like really being like strong. That's overall like from the surface base of why people may not like Amanda, because she represents this strong, confident, dominant woman that, sometimes society is not really ready for that. So yeah, that's my takeaway. And I definitely have my own personal perspective in dealings with Amanda that I can get into a little bit later.
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts, but I want to come to Tony first to give him an opportunity. Tony, what are your thoughts? I don't know if you've ever met Amanda or anything, but what are your thoughts as to why people, have this feeling that she's unlikable or hard to work with?
Jealousy, envy, because a lot of people don't like you. A lot of people don't like the three of us. But we don't go in there and vent and talk about it. One thing you do, you talk your talk, you walk the walk. You got to walk it like you talk it. But when you start saying, well, people not feeling me and then I got a bad name and people, don't even mention that. You knew that when you got into business, before you got into business. People didn't like you in the 5th grade. You think they're going to like you now? All you got to do is keep doing your thing. People always should keep talking and walk like they talk. Yeah. And then you can't go back and you shouldn't even mention that. A lot of people don't like me and I see a lot of hate. And getting a lot of emails and all. Don't even bring that up.
What were you
I was
going
to say, I think you're hitting it on the head because a lot of it deals with programming. And I feel like she's programming people to like experience her that way. I was kind of talking about that offset. Like all the stuff that you see her go viral for are always the negative and combative stuff. So she's kind of marketing that. And what Tony's saying by her even acknowledging it only amplifies it to train the public to think, this is how you are, this is what you're about. Yeah. Versus if there were other perspectives, but yeah.
Well, I think...
But today, I mean to cut you off, but in today's world, especially with the media, now internet and Instagram, Facebook, and to get out there on the internet is so heavy now, and it makes you so powerful. People do that on purpose. Donald Trump do it on purpose. He do that to get the vote. He's the most popular man on earth.
He is, and the most entertaining. Anytime he's on somewhere, it's like he's a very entertaining man. But for Amanda, I understand the thought of like not leaning into it, which we've talked about. Like the human brain automatically attaches to negative things, and we talked about that yesterday as well. But for me, I wonder if she's speaking up for two things. I think that she's speaking up. One, I feel like it's impacting her career. Because, there are conversations of her being hard to work with, and we know what happens. Take being Black, or just Black alone. Anytime you have that stigma put on you that you're hard to work with, you get blackballed. And then in addition to being a Black woman, there aren't as many opportunities for Black women. And I've heard different comedians talk about that in my time here, learning more about comedy and just how difficult it can be in that space. So I feel like she's in this, she has to defend herself because one, it doesn't seem like many people are doing it. And then two, it's like, if I don't say something, if I don't come to the rescue of myself, then I'm just allowing it to happen. And then I don't want to be blackballed, you know, and I don't think she wants like Hollywood, and she talks about in the interview, she doesn't care about like the Hollywood, but she got to make money. Like she has to, so it's like, at what point do you sit back and just let it happen and let it go, let people run with that you're unlikable and hard to work with, and it start impacting your career?
Right.
Or do you step up to the plate to say, hey, if y'all aren't gonna defend me, I'm gonna defend me? Because, and I would say for myself, and I'll come to you, John, as a Black woman, like I can be very easygoing, but even we had the conversation, I feel like too, we label easygoing with the flow, but I also know some of that was because I was a people pleaser. So I would like want to people please and you know, you try to go with the flow and be easy. But the moment you say no, the moment I've said no in a situation, it's like, oh wait, she's difficult. I can't, she doing too much. And it's like, but I've said yes all these times, but the one time I say no and stand my ground and have a boundary, it's like, oh, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like some of that fades into Amanda. And I don't know her personally though.
Yeah.
I don't know her personally.
There's a few layers with Amanda. Like I said, and my first response was more of a surface base.
Absolutely. And that's what I was
My other response is, I think with her being a confident person and sure of her talent, because I was watching a little bit of this Shannon Sharpe interview, she was like, I'm a great actress. You know, a lot of times people like people that are more on the humble side of it.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, some athletes can get away with it, be real confident, kind of cocky, but typically we don't like the person that like says they're smart, knows they're smart, because that's what Amanda has also promoted too. Like, I'm educated, I know these things. And Amanda, you know, and I'm gonna go into the personal side of it. Amanda's the homie. She's done some great things with me in terms of behind the scenes as well as on camera. But I think people get turned off with like the know-it-all persona that we've all known in grade school. Like when people kind of like, they know everything. I don't know what it is, it just turns people off when you just like are the know-it-all and it's kind of like promoted that way. So I think Amanda gets that in that light as well. Like, it's like, let your work speak for yourself. You don't have to say nothing, just let your talent and your ability kind of do the talking. Because like I said, on a personal note, I think Amanda's getting a bad rap because as a person, I think she's like a genuine, and I think she's a good friend and an overall person. I don't think she has any malice. In knowing her and the interactions that we've had, there was just an incident where we booked her for a digital cover shoot that she did for us. And I think people's impression of difficult is that she's gonna hold you accountable. So I went and did this shoot that I set up, and I didn't have things that I said I was gonna have. Now, I had all the excuses in the world. I had my reasons for it. I was coming from Atlanta and traveling to LA to do a shoot, and I didn't have some of my shit together. And she held me accountable to that. Now, in the scheme of it, it didn't feel good because I'm like, give me some grace, like cut me some slack. But in reality, like, you know, she was saying, hey, this is what I agreed upon, and where are these things?
Yeah.
Now, here's the gangster part. As a person, you got to see her exist because she would not only do the shoot, of course, still carry it out, but she ended up helping me get the things that I set out I needed.
Wow.
And she ended up helping me put the shoot together, like to make sure that it was right. And that's my impression of Amanda, is like, she's gonna make sure the shit is right.
Yeah.
If you go to any of her shows, she does the same level of intensity. I think we talked about that too. I think she's projecting what she expects out of herself onto others. And so the fact is, did I take that from you?
You did take that.
I took that. I didn't know you was gonna say that.
I did.
But, so that's
No,
so that's
Tony, I told him beforehand, I said, I think Amanda, and we talked about this, right? So we have these type of dialogues anytime we're talking about a conversation that we're bringing forth, because we really want to bring, you know, real information. So my thing was, I think Amanda is just projecting the, like, what she wants herself, how she holds herself accountable, how she's going to do something. She wants you to do the same way, which is, you can't be too mad at. If she expects excellence from herself, she's going to expect excellence from you. Yeah. So I think, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I do think it can be received. It
can be very uncomfortable with someone that is going to call your shit out.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of want to be able to chill and like relax and get things done. Like, you know, Tony, I'm sure like even from bringing you in more in the conversation, you come off very like likable and easygoing, and I'm sure that helps the brand continue. Now, we haven't done business, so I don't know, you know, how that is on the behind the
Tony
scenes.
want his blue M&Ms.
But have you seen? Have you seen?
But I think with Amanda, if people don't like the way it's hard, she says it's hard to. They say she's hard to work with. A lot of people say that when they just constantly don't have their stuff together. And then if she's not really rude, if you're not rude to people, like even the people that work for me, when something goes on, I don't like it. I even come to them. I say, "Hey, I suggest this. So what if we was to do this and that? What y'all think about that?" I ask them that, and it makes sense. So they go, "Yeah, you know, we can do. Matter of fact, we can do both if we do." And it all figures a way out. But if I say no, get out. That's stupid. We're doing this. Now I'm not likable because I'm rude.
Yeah.
Some people got it in them. So we don't know. We just go by. When she said I'm not likable, people say I'm hard to work with, and my reputation is like being a bitch. We don't know until we were in that room. I didn't take no word for it, like they wrong or she wrong. It's one or the other. Either you was rude to people, or they jealous of you, or they ain't got their stuff together.
I was gonna say, I think we need people like Amanda though. You need a fighter. Like if she was on my team, I know she gonna make sure it's right.
Yeah.
Because there are bullies in the game that would try to take advantage of people, and I think Amanda would be the one to fight. And overall, her energy is a fighter that I kind of like can see from like looking at what she posts.
My agent, Tamara Goins, is from East Oakland, from the streets.
Right.
She rapped "Don't Fight the Feeling" record with Too Short. That was her that rapped that.
Wow.
Right. She was 17 when she did that. 16 or 17. She came from East Oakland. She been an NFL wife. She been through the ruckus. Right. She got to LA, applied for a job as an assistant, then became a manager, then became an agent. Now she's one of the top agents in Hollywood. Head of the whole comedy department in innovative art, all the actors of comics. But when she dealing with me, if somebody dealing with me, she is so professional. But when they do wrong, that East Oakland girl is right under the surface. Dude, bam! See, I seen it. I seen it. So that's
Shout out to Tam.
Big shout out to Tam.
yeah. She's seen the soft get stepped on. She's seen it.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen to her.
Then I was gonna bring up like, so with Amanda, it's only unfortunate because a lot of sometimes she's holding us accountable, because we love when she called out Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
We love that. She went viral for that moment. So we love when she's maybe like aiming at other people, and maybe she needs to think about like that approach, because we're supposed to be family, you know. So I think we sometimes want a softer, but like she's a weapon, you know. She's a force. She's a fighter, and I think that it'll be great if we can be more allies when it comes to her, and use her in our use her in different things that we can advance.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think just with people in general, it's easier to like somebody and like, oh, I'm gonna ride for this fighter when they fighting somebody else. But then when you do wrong to them,
When
or you're not,
yeah.
when they hold you accountable. But I think our people have to be held accountable too.
I feel that.
Because we talk about all the time, like about, you know, how our community needs to do better in certain situations, how we need to continue to think outside of what they're feeding us.
We don't like it.
We don't like it, but we need it. You don't, when you're working out, you don't like the way it feels at first. I'm tired, my arms are sore, this hurts, but you know it's for the betterment of the situation.
Tony, you remember when Cosby did the pound cake speech? And he was like talking about pull up your pants. That kind of like, Cosby kind of like had a little bit of the energy because he was holding people accountable, which is real. Like, we don't need to probably be sagging, but you remember those, how Cosby's image, did his image ever change in front of you? Like, he was lovable, then he kind of went to like this, kind of like alienated from the black community. Yeah,
but comedians adapt to that. You know, we can get hard. We walk through rain, man. You can talk to us and we'll let you. You'll never know nothing was wrong with us. But then we'll go to bed and cry first. Tell you, comedians are we're chameleons. So it's hard to tell what a comedian is going through.
So let me pose this question, and Tony, I'll come to you. What are your thoughts? Do you think Amanda has the ability to change the perspective of people, not to view her as unlikable and hard to work with?
Yeah, I think she should go on, like you say, the Shay Shay Club or go online herself. Talk to somebody. She don't need to, but it seems like it's bothering her. It seems like it's bothering her. But I think if she, a lot of people are not going to go for it. She can go and say, look, I'm explaining to something. And don't be angry about it. Talk about it like just a regular conversation online and say, people perceive me as this. But I do this. You don't see when I do this. You don't see I do this for people, blah, 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 charity. It's just sometimes you have to be aggressive when or people are going to take you to, you're not going to get nothing done.
Yeah.
Just explain yourself. You don't have to whine about it or vent about it or try to defend yourself. Just explain, this is where I am. But a lot of people know me in a different light. And I think she got 2 or 3 different, everybody do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either my mama gonna hug and kiss you or throw something at you. My mama got 2 attitudes.
Yeah.
The black mama.
For sure. I feel like that's most black moms too experiences. John, let me ask you the same thing. What do you think? Do you think she has the ability to change the perspective of the people?
My closing thoughts is that I think Amanda clearly represents something that is triggering a large amount of people. Because I think at the top of this, I said like, okay, she probably represents people that we all know specifically. Mm-hmm. Like as celebrities, a lot of times, like I look at Mike Epps, he's supposed to be like the funny uncle, the goofy uncle. Monique is auntie. And I think for Amanda, she represents somebody that we all kind of know and dealt with that has not been accepted from a day to day. And I think it goes back to, like I said, just like being a woman and being outspoken, having boundaries. Like that's not how a lot of us are trained to one, interact with women that way. And even some women don't even necessarily feel comfortable sometimes to act that way. A lot of women be soft and kind of told to go with the flow.
Be a people pleaser.
With Amanda, I think she's kind of representing like, how do we deal with the situation? Like, do we accept that women can come in different shapes, sizes, energy? Do women all have to be soft and just go with the flow? Or can we accept that there are hard women out here that's not gonna take your shit?
Yeah.
So there's a quote by, I forgot his name, but Bernard Shaw, who says, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man." So for Amanda, I don't think she needs to necessarily change because I don't think she's gonna change. And knowing her, this is what you're gonna get. So I think it's on us as the world of like, how do we deal with people and deal with women that aren't gonna be the traditional prototype that we think they should be and not be so triggered by it and know how to talk and deal with Amanda. I think it's gonna be a test for us because she's an agent of change. And I think that's what she does as being a black woman. So hopefully we all can know how to deal when we deal with black women from our day to day that are like Amanda and not be so triggered by it and know how to talk. Because like I said again, in knowing her, I don't think she's a malice person. I think she's a great person. I think she has a standard. And at the end of the day, we should just know how to be able to deal with it when it feels like she might be attacking, when really she's not. She's trying to get things like
done.
On point.
Yeah, and I
If I knew 1 million people didn't like me, it'd bother me too. For real. I mean, but long as you got 4 friends and one of them is God, you just gotta run. Just go.
That's fair.
Yeah. No, that's definitely real. And, I do wish the best for Amanda. I hate to see her constantly in the headline, especially right now. Every time I see it, it's always like, I don't even understand why people are upset, why people are mad, but I think both of you make
triggers. Yeah, she triggers something.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like more so like in defense of her. Like I wish I could it's like I want to defend her. I want to come to her defense and but all the things. But it's just kind of one of those things where it's like people are gonna think what people think. You can literally be like, hey, I love the world and I want peace, and somebody's gonna find something wrong. No matter what your beliefs are. For me, I speak very openly what my belief is. Jesus was a perfect man, and nobody. There were people that didn't like him. So it's like, for someone to be perfect, the world is gonna think what the world want to think. You just gotta let them think it. You know what I'm saying? But I do wish the best for Amanda. And all the things that are coming. I do wish her success because I don't know her personally, but just from the things I've heard that we've discussed and just the things I see for myself, I do think she's a genuine person. Last thing, because Let's be really honest too as well. But in addition to that, I feel like there's a reason that she would take to Instagram, because there was also a time where a mistake was made on behalf of the company and she sent you a DM
She did.
as opposed to blasting.
That's facts.
So I feel like if she's putting something on blast, it's because that you and I had a conversation that was understanding. Like, she recently just called out Essence. They had a conversation that they were going to do an interview, and then 3 hours before the interview, they didn't do it, and then she called it out. So I don't think it's like, oh, if you do something on accident, or y'all didn't have a conversation about something, there wasn't an expectation that was set. I think she's only going to take it to the public.
But it goes back to Tony's point about
the way
what she's programming the audience to feel about her. If you see every post she's making is calling somebody out, what you think you gonna think she gonna do that to me if I act
don't act the donkey.
So that's Amanda. But let's get into
okay. Yeah, I want to talk about Tony, because Tony, you keep catching me off guard. So let's talk about Mr. Tony Roberts. Okay, from Detroit. I want to talk about the beginning just a little bit. What was it like for you coming up in the comedy space? Because I'm always interested to know, this is a different time in comedy. It's different what we're seeing. So, for you in Detroit, what was it like for you coming up in the comedy clubs?
The struggle. A lot of comics start when they're 24, 22 years old, 19. I went in the Army at 18. I did 10 years in the Army before I even did comedy. So when I got out and started, I didn't even want to be a comedian. A friend of mine, Perry Conway, my best friend, we met in the 5th grade. We was at an open mic night one night, drinking and kicking it, and they asked anybody want to do 3 minutes on stage, 3 minutes of fame, and he bet me $50 I wouldn't get up. I wasn't trying to be a comedian. I just needed $50. So I took the $50, went on stage, and I did 3 minutes talking about him. I didn't have nothing to say. Ain't no jokes. And he told me to go write some stuff down. He went and found some open mics for me. And that was it. I had like 9 jobs. I messed them all up because I knew I wasn't supposed to work.
Yeah.
I'm not a guy. I'm not a 9 to 5 guy. So
Why do you, and John, I'll ask you as well, why do you think we don't hear those stories anymore? Because I feel like, as I've talked on this platform and even talked to other comedians in other spaces, it seems to always be like I fell into it. It wasn't something that I set my mind. If somebody made a bet, why don't we see more comedians coming out of that space of it's just a natural thing? It seems like now, today, in these times, it's coming from being making skits and things online and then going into stand-up, as opposed to stand-up being the origin and then kind of fleshing out.
But stand-up is the origin. That means you got the knack. You got the science down when it comes to stand-up. The stand-up is nothing but a punchline has to be the element of surprise. You can't let it see it coming. When you're scared, somebody scared you, start laughing automatically. That's what punchline is. You hear the story, but you can't see the punchline coming from the behind you, and it hits you in the head. When they do skits, and you get so many followers on Instagram, and you blow up 1 million, 2 million followers, so the promoter like you, and he puts you on stage, you can't do skits. You don't know what you're doing up there.
Yeah.
So you start talking about the easiest thing in the world. You start talking about sex, hitting girls, and you just cuss a lot. So that's right now, that's the era we in. When we grew up, we had to pass out flyers hand to hand. We had to go out and the struggle of Greyhound buses. We had to, sometimes we didn't get out all our money and we had to walk away.
Wow.
That's the struggle. But when we grew up, man, it was hard. It was like, I quit my job. I was an LPN. My sisters are nurses. I got 2 sisters nurses. She gave me a job as a nursing assistant. And I was like, then I was an LPN to give me the backdoor exam. I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't want to change no more diapers. So so we was doing open mic nights. A guy gave me $250 for 5 minutes while they tally up the scores at a hair show in Detroit. And he gave me, I had number 3 jokes, and 2 of them were stock jokes. And I didn't, I know what I was doing. I was running around on stage, energy. He gave me $250 in 5 minutes. I quit my job the next day.
Wow.
And my sister said, you got to give us a 2-week notice. I said, you got to notice I'm not here for 2 weeks. Because I am never going to work again. Right? So, and then I come from a family, I'm from Detroit. In my family, you got to work. You got to work. There ain't no entertainment thing going on. So they wanted me to work at Ford or Chrysler. All my family did. So my sister told my mom at the dinner table, Tony quit his job because she was pissed at me. My mother said, "What you doing now, baby?" I said, "I'm a comedian." Just what I was about to say, I'm a comedian. My sister said, "Here, clown." My mother lost her mind. Ain't no pension plan in that comedian.
So Tony, let me ask you, Tony, because you've been in the industry what 31 years. How have you how has that how have you been able to stay booked, because you're still active, you're still out here, the longevity of your career? How have you been able to sustain that?
You ever see me live?
I have not in person.
I got 3 1-hour specials. I got 7 seasons of Comic View. I got the show called The Ruckus. I did 3 Def Comedy Jams on HBO. And it's just constantly, you see everything I'm doing. You never see none of that. Once it airs, you never see that live. I'm the guy, every time I come to your city, I got 75% of a new set, 80%. I would turn down the gig. I'm the one that stayed relevant, because no matter how long I've been doing it and how hard I hit the stage, standing ovations, I'm always in my hotel, in my room, with scratch pieces of paper, writing down new jokes, to remember stuff. I'm always working. Me and my crew, we always coming up with new stuff. We'll talk some stuff together. Somebody say something, okay, who want that? Okay, you take that one. Or my boy Lance say something. I'm gonna give you 3 weeks to put that on stage, or I'm taking it. We get down like that. We challenge each other. So I'm always around people who challenge each other. So that's why I'm so relevant now. Even to this day, I'm on two different tours.
Right.
Because I'm always picked to do a TV show. I did Shaq All Stars like 7 years in a row. We do all the Super Bowls and the All Star weekends, everything, man. Because everybody know I'm gonna give them a show. I go 100% even today.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm famous. I don't want to be famous where I just walk around and, yeah, man, it's crazy. And sit in the chair. I don't want to be famous like that.
I was gonna ask you about that, because I've somewhat have been seeing your career for some time now, since we started. I wanted to kind of get your honest vantage point, because even hearing you say that I don't want to be famous, I've always personally wondered why kind of Tony Roberts was like, he was always like, I would say you're like a 6th man, if that makes sense to you. Like you were like, you're always there, but it's never like, you're not necessarily always picked for the like all-star in terms of basketball terminology, but you're like how do you feel about that? Because I feel like even us as a brand, I see a long-term vision for us to be able to keep going, but we may never necessarily be like the guy at that moment. But how do you take that in for your brand?
You know what? I get some comics that's bigger than me. I get a lot of comics under me. And I get a lot of people in America, they always tell me, you're the most underrated comic in the world right now. And then that means they respect me. And I'm the guy you don't want to go behind sometimes. And then I've always believed God got a plan. He got his mark. He just can't rush it, the process. If something happens, you got comics that get something on TV like instantly.
Yeah.
And then, get a part in a movie, like bam, bam. And they there. You're like, oh, and you can act. And then before you know, you don't see them no more. You see them in nothing else.
That's why. So what do you prefer? You prefer the path that's going on now then?
I never doubt God's process with me.
Yeah.
Because I've always been to feed my family. I've always been to buy what I want to buy. I'm healthy. My travel is good. Every time I get on stage and get off stage, people, they know me when I'm in the airport. It's comics now looking for gigs.
Yeah.
It's comics now that started with me that you don't see no more in clubs. And I'm doing arenas and theaters now. With a few other comics, but it's good. I feel it. But I write a lot, so I got 2 TV shows that's on the table now, and I wrote a movie that the funding is. I think we started going into production in September. I wrote a movie about the pandemic, so I write scripts and I write my own movies. I write my own. I'm talented, dude. I mean, it's hard to write a script.
It is.
It's hard. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I call that the faith with works journey. It's like I got faith and I'm doing the work. How it goes, where it goes, that's on God. Like that ain't on me. I'm doing the work and keeping the faith.
Yeah. And I like writing the songs I write. Like, you need your ass beat, stomach gets a new titty. I did the video out now. Stomach gets a new titty. Called Booty Mouth. I got a song called Booty Mouth. You need an Altoid IV, a Listerine shake, a Febreze mouthpiece, or a right guard cake. Put cologne on your throat, put a jacket on your tongue, put your teeth in the cleaners. You got booty mouth, son.
I'm gonna definitely go listen to that. I'm gonna come in here playing that every morning, John. Just to let you know from now on, I'm playing that. But I know I haven't had the opportunity to see you live, but I will actually have an opportunity because you're coming to Atlanta on April 27th. Can you tell us a little bit about that show? Because that's a crazy lineup as well that's coming with you.
I respect other tours. I've been with Cat Williams. That's a dope tour because they do a lot of arenas and everything. He got a diverse crowd. Puerto Ricans, Africans. I mean, there's a lot of white people, Mexicans. And one thing about that crowd, they ready for him to talk that talk. He did on Shay Shay, stuff like that, right? And I think it's an avenue for that. And then we got Mike Epps, and you got the internet guys out there with them. So that's the younger crowd, right? I think our show right now on tour, we got the meet to the dopest tour because we get all the middle-aged people. It's called the Festival of Laughs. And we got Samora, the Queen of Comedy, is hosting. We got Bill Bellamy, one of the most recognized artists in the world to me. Everybody see him, man. Funny, he's funny today, man. He's aggressive funny. And Lavelle Crawford, the big man himself. So the four of us go out. Samora hosts the show. Then she do like 25 up front. I go up and do 20, 25. Then Bill do like 25. Lavelle do 35, maybe 40. We talking about a nice rhythm. Everybody, and then we got Don DC Curry. He comes on a bunch of dates. I think he's doing Atlanta with us. He does, but he's on the show too. Legend. We talking about, it's a lot of history on this show, and everybody still got it. And we compliment each other, man. This is a dope tour. This tour should be a reality show.
Yeah. Y'all need to get somebody filming it then.
Maybe comedy hype, maybe.
Look, come on.
It's crazy. You're gonna enjoy yourself. Make sure I see y'all backstage.
I will. I will. I'll make sure we hit you up, let you know that, hey, we're here.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. But I got a lot of stuff coming out, man. I got a lot more stuff coming out.
Yeah, well, definitely. I look forward to seeing you live here when you come as well. Congratulations on everything. It's beautiful to watch your career, but even now being able to actually like talk to you, have a good time and be able to talk to some of the things. So thank you so much for joining us today. This was an interview that I was very excited for.
I appreciate y'all. And I'm shooting a documentary right now about my career from front to back.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Is there a date for it yet? Release?
No, it's gonna be in June. I'll be finished editing and ready to go out in June. I'm gonna shoot my fourth 1 hour with it and bring it out.
Well, come on back then. Come on back and promote that with us.
It's gonna be crazy.
Well, definitely keep us updated. We'd love to have you on the show to help promote that as well. Because I'm excited to see that.
And my lips dry.
It's too late now.
You made me think my lips dry.
Because I lick my lips. It's a bad habit. I got written up in elementary school for licking my lips. So it is just a bad habit, Tony. It's a habit. But thank you both for chiming in on this topic. You heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts of Amanda Seales' interview on Club Shay Shay explaining why she's unlikable? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. What's up, family? It's Symphony Thompson, the official host of the Comedy Hype News show Late Night, and I'm here because I have some extremely exciting news to share. We are officially launching a club. Yep, that's right. And this club is exclusively for our loyal watchers, event goers, and debaters, known as Hypers Club. As a member, you will receive access to never-released interviews, original content, behind the scenes with myself and our team here, and even access to a community of other hypers who are looking to build. For those in Atlanta, if you're an entrepreneur, podcaster, content creator, or just someone who is looking for a dedicated space to hold your next meeting, then this next part is just for you. You will get free access to events, discounts on merchandise, exclusive content that I mentioned earlier, and access to our creator studio for all your content needs. So, memberships are officially open, and you can start by joining hypersclub.com to sign up and become a member of our club. I'm in the club, and I hope you join us.